My camera stopped for a minute. Anyway, I was addicted to attention. I was addicted to being the center of attention. And then I was later addicted to physical attention. Yeah, from the age of 10. And partially because I was not getting the attention that I felt I needed, that felt safe. When I was 2, I was molested by a caregiver. And from that point on, even at the age of 4, I was constantly seeking physical touch. That physical touch ended up translating into a sexual type of touch. And it continued for many years. And as of late, I have been in different therapies. I have not gone to a group meeting because it's very hard to find group meetings for women specifically. There are some, but sometimes they're just not in a good area where I need to be and where I feel safe. So I have just done my best recently. Helicopter. Yeah. I live by the hospitals. So, well, currently right now, my new place, I don't live by hospitals. Well, I do live by one, but that one's, it's not going to be like helicopters and stuff. I'm actually by the airport. So another loud sounds will be when I make videos there at some point. Anyway, I'm trying to stay focused. And of course, it's really loud now. But I'm making this video to hopefully encourage someone else and to encourage myself that just because something has occurred in your life that caused you to respond a certain way or many different ways, it doesn't mean that your life only means that thing. You know, it's not only that thing. And I used to constantly, as a person of faith, if you have watched any of my videos, you know that I believe Jesus and I truly trust him. Some people may not agree with that, and that's fine. That's okay. If this is not the video for you, please move on. You don't have to stay. You won't hurt my feelings. I've hurt my feelings enough, so don't don't feel like you have to. But for those of you who are caring for me and you care for others who have kept their voice small and not wanted to say anything about what they've really been dealing with, this is for you. Okay. I don't like videos sometimes. They're very annoying because they stop in a little bit. Anyway, and I don't have a brand new phone. I have an old phone. So anyway, this is what we're working with. I'm trying to slow myself down. Yeah, so, and this is very emotional for me. Why? Not because I'm sad, but because I am free now. And I'm more free than I've ever been. This video is kind of going to be everywhere, but mainly I wanted to share that I am in a better position to finally release things. I talked to a young lady yesterday at the store about, we were sharing in good things, and you know, because my birthday is today, and that I found some things at the store that I really liked, and she was saying, you know, you sometimes have to do certain things in order to get to your peace. And I was like, yes, like I agree. And so the things I've had to do to get to this peaceful place, it's a bit of a heavy weight. It's been a bit of a heavy weight on me for a long time, where I felt like I couldn't talk about it. I don't know if any of you grew up in a family where it's like, well, don't talk about that. Don't tell anybody about this. And it was all these hushed things, but people were talking about the things. That's the crazy part. My family was talking about the things, and I'm like, you're contradicting yourself. What are you talking about? You said don't talk about this, but you're literally talking about it. And you're not even talking to the person that really needs to hear it sometimes. So because of that, as a child, I also learned to be an addicting person. I was addicted to keeping secrets. And when you're having to keep things and you can't talk about it, as a child who already did not talk very much, I was exploding inside. And so sometimes with my mother, I would have a whole blowout, because at some point the pressure inside me had to pop. It had to expel. It had to be let go of. Our bodies are not meant to hold things. They're not meant to keep, okay, for example, when you eat food, it's supposed to come out of your body. There's a literal digestion system. It's supposed to go out, right? It gives your body the nourishment it needs, and then whatever else it can't use, it will get rid of it, right? The same thing when you take in information. You're only supposed to take in so much information, and this is just my theory on it. It's probably definitely someone else has already probably written many articles on this, but I'm just thinking right now, you're only supposed to take in so much. And if you're given way too much, for some people in 5 minutes of information, that's too much. Some people for 2 minutes, that's too much. For a whole hour of information where persons or people or one person is constantly talking and going, someone is going to probably tell you, shut up, please. And I was taught as a child, that's actually rude. You shouldn't say shut up. And they told us, oh, say be quiet instead. And look here, I want to tell you sometimes, if you're talking too much, including myself, and why am I talking so much? Why am I saying so much? Because I've been holding a lot. But then I've had to learn, where is a place that I can talk? Where is a place to let it out? Yeah, I don't know. There's a lot. I'm just doing this to, again, let it out. So that's beneficial to me. This is a kind of therapy. And I don't feel like I have to be so perfect or so anything, because this video is just me making a video. Now, what happens if I choose to post it, don't really care. It's not about that. I've let it out. I'm letting it go, and it doesn't belong to me anymore. That's something that I said in this apartment. This is one of my last days here at this apartment and moving to my new place. And yeah, I told myself a few weeks ago that this is not my apartment anymore. I'm letting it go. And so I'm going to do the same thing with certain things that I have tried to make a staple in my life, that were really crutches, that were really things that were not supposed to be permanent. You probably have done some things or kept some things in your life that are not meant to be there, actually. There were things that you used in order to cope, in order to keep moving forward, in order to just be. Sometimes we do things that just don't make any sense. And I feel that as humans, we're just a walking contradiction. But I am learning to love on me. And for those of you that also don't know, I was a caregiver for over 20 years. And I have taken that into the current job that I have. And I take it into other areas, you know, with my friends and family. But I've also learned to forgive myself. That's the big key. Forgiving yourself for things that you didn't know how to handle. As a child, I didn't know how to handle certain things. And so, yeah, I leaned into areas that seemed to fit. Okay, well, people think I'm super sweet because I'm not talking that much. Okay, great. But I hated the word sweet. I wrote that in my book. Smashing Fear in the Face. That's my book if you ever want to check it out. It's still on Amazon. It's on Kindle. I think it's on Kindle for free if you have Kindle. But it's called Smashing Fear in the Face. And it's by Yankela Moyer. Moyer. That's Yankela, Yankele. Last name Moyer, Moyer. So yeah. But yeah, it's about 54 pages. And from what I've heard, it's a pretty good read. I wrote that also too to help pop the bubbles, pop all the pressures inside of myself that needed to just be let out finally. And I wrote it while I was out here. Been here about 4 years, a little over 4 years. And yeah, it's an opening up for me. And I thought that addiction was only in one area. I thought it was only like, okay, well, drugs, alcohol, you know, those kind of things. And then later I learned, you know, sexual things too. But you can be addicted to a lot of things. You can be addicted to food too. And I had an addiction to food that came along too. I've probably had just about all except for actual drugs and alcohol. I've been addicted to, like I said, attention. Even attention that was not helpful to me. It was detrimental to me. I was married to an alcoholic. So there's that. And I just considered this right now. Sheesh. I just considered right now that I can go to a meeting, and I hadn't really honestly ever thought about really doing it because the person I was married to told me that they're not an alcoholic, but yet you're drinking really heavy liquor almost every day in the evening to go to sleep. Yeah, okay. But I couldn't really talk too much because I felt like, oh, you know, how could I say anything about them when I had a sexual addiction? I had an addiction for all kind of things, food too, or aversions to certain things. So yeah, just toxic, all kind of toxic, and trying to find light in the room. Yeah, so anyway, that kind of thing happening, but just wanted to share a little of that. And I think I'm going to go to a meeting. I'm going to try and find a meeting for, I forgot what it's called. I can't think of it. It was on a show that I watched recently, and it's really good. This is which is also helping me too. It's called Sorry for Your Loss. Don't like those words. But if you like, you know, if you want to watch it, it's on Tubi for free. I don't know if it's on anywhere else, but it's on Tubi. It's actually made by Facebook Watch, which I think was interesting. But it's a very interesting show. But yeah, one of the people on there, her sibling is an alcoholic, and so she goes to meetings, and then the lady that their dad married later on. I don't know when the timeline, it doesn't say really, but anyway, the woman he married after their mom was like, her mom was an alcoholic, and so she used to go to like meetings and stuff. And there's a word for like the family members or friends of people who are in addiction. And it's like you can go to meetings and like talk about your experience and stuff. So I'm like, I think that would be helpful for me. That would be another place to let things out. So this is my year, or years. Even last year I started doing new things too, but this year is definitely moving into new spaces, adopting new habits, adopting new ways of being that are healthy and that speak to my heart and that help me to grow rather than stay in a fixed mindset, which is staying in the same place for a long period of time and thinking that that's going to change things. It doesn't change. Going back to old things that were also not helpful does not change anything. It keeps you in a cycle, a loop of spinning, and you're dizzy. And then you try and go back to something else that you think might help too, or you go deeper into it. The Bible I read tells me that it's like going back to vomit. Yep. It says it in there. You can look it up. I thought that was just hardcore. I said, why would you say that? It's like, yeah, no. Think about it. If you go back to something that actually harmed you, not helped you, harm, it actually caused problems in your life, and you're going to go back to it, knowing that it's still going to cause you problems. It didn't actually help. It's not anything that helped you. It still remained the same thing. Why are you going back to that? Isn't that the same as you taking something that you and basically eating it? It sounds gross. Like I said, if this video is not for you, please move on. I'm very candid like that. I will tell you just straight out. That's how it is. But anyway, yeah, that's what it's like. And I was like, that's terrible. So yeah, so we are going to things and we're going to do things that are helpful. Going to events that are helpful. Being around people who are also healed, whole, or going towards healing. Having conversations that are healing. You will have to go into, as the mom on the show said, you're going to have to go into the woods, the dark places, in order to go through. I was like, man, that's good. That's good. You got to go into the woods, the dark place, in order to go through. It's like, geez, man, that's crazy. But anyway, just thoughts. Yeah, so I'm going to get dressed and get out of here because I got to be at the church. It is youth day and I'm excited to celebrate my youth today because I love them so much. They're definitely who's going to, do some things. They are breaking through some things. And so I'm praying for them. And if you're a praying person, please pray for my youth. Not just for today, but just pray for them. Pray for our youth, not just my youth, but our youth. Pray for our children. Pray for the people that care for them. Pray for their teachers. Pray for the people that are allowed to be and hold space in their lives. Mentors, people who make decisions concerning what our children do. Such as government officials in your city, in your local area, community members, those who organize things like that, affect food, affect their, mental health. Pray for these people, please, because we need help. We need people to make right decisions for our children. We need people to make, good decisions concerning their livelihood because we want them to have a full life. And there are so many children that are not here anymore because people were not taking care of the children in all aspects. Because people think, oh, it's just the parents. No, it's not just the parents. The old saying goes, it takes a village. The village that raised me is why I am who I am now. It's why I'm so passionate about that. It's why I'm so passionate about telling my story. Because if it can help someone, there's a teenager that said that, how could she see me how could she see me? Because she read my book. And she told her auntie, like, how could she see me like that? Like, I feel seen. That makes sense. And I don't even know what part she was specifically talking about. But it makes sense. When you start telling your story, it is imperative that we tell our stories. This is how language happens. This is how stories and good things get passed down. And even the bad things that we don't want to, have be part of our legacy. It's not necessarily part of your legacy, but it can be part of your legacy that you were brave enough to actually tell what happened. What was your life? What was your family's traditions? Or things that maybe were not part of traditions that shouldn't be. I don't know. But anyway, this thing is long already. So yeah, I think that's it for now. I love y'all and I'm praying for you too. And I hope that you have a great day. And if you're not having a great day, take a deep breath. You can do that. Just do like that. You are held right now. You are held and you get to be loved on and you're important. You are important. Your mind and your heart, your thoughts, your feelings are very important and valid. Even if your mind inside you tells you, no, it's not, it's scary. It can be scary. I'm not going to say it's not scary. It is totally scary. It's scary to be vulnerable, even to yourself. And how can I say that? Because this is what I've done. I've had to be vulnerable with me first. I've had to love me first. And I'm still learning how to do that. I'm still learning how to do it, okay? At 45. So take care and yeah, we'll see you soon.